Testing. Testing. All right. Testing. All right. Testing. All right. And we're going to turn off the sound so we don't get that echo. Seems to be working. Great. I don't know who else is watching besides myself. Oh, I bet it's my program and my YouTube channel. I came on a few minutes early to make sure I got everything working. Hi, Stitchy Cat Lady. How are you today? I'm so glad you're here. All right. I think I might have some wobbles, but that's okay. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve. Sorry, I'm going to rearrange my interface here a little bit. Oh, that makes it easier to see the chat. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. My second live, and I'm doing it all by myself this time. So welcome to my Dragons of the Spot Stitch with me. Did you bring a project to work on while you're here? Oh, I can see a tiny corner of my pattern in my pattern keeper. Trying out pattern keeper for the first time for a real project. All right, so let's put the first stitch in on the Dragons of the Sabbat. I'm doing it on 28 count even weave from Fabric Flare called Creationist Blue. And I'll be doing it 1/1. I'm a little concerned about the coverage on. And I'm using pattern keeper for the first time. Oh, and I'm pretty sure yep, I got a knot in it already. Let's undo the knot then. Miss Moth. That sounds really familiar. Is that Witchy Stitcher? I think there's a few things I'll still use paper for, but definitely not my big designs, probably. I do look forward to not having to count. But like stuff with lots of back stitch, I think I'll probably still do paper because back stitch doesn't show up. On Pattern Keeper. Let's get you out of the way so I can stitch. Oh no, what is that? A piece of fuzz or something. Not in my normal stitchy spot because I was hoping to do this on my phone, but I cannot get it to connect to my channel doing it on my phone. So I'm sitting in my husband's computer chair by all of his stuff and using my husband's computer. Ooh, how many starts are you doing today? Ah, Nora Corbett. Oh, I need to get WinStitch. I have PC Stitch Pro for making designs, but it seems limiting in some ways, and it seems like most everybody is using WinStitch to design stuff these days. I get the exact little hole. Fair enough. I'll have to hang out in the Coven chat sometime, maybe, or something. Or a Google Meet or something. I started my own in-person stitchy meetup in St. Cloud, where I live now. Once a month. Ooh, I hate when that happens. I really should have cut that string shorter, but it's okay. I just didn't want to. I'll have to look up Miss Moth and Miss Solar Eclipse later. So this is my first of 50 starts for the year. Pay attention to what row you're on. Count twice, stitch once. It's gonna take, I think, a little getting used to Pattern Keeper. But I think it might be the best way to go for all of my full coverages. It's funny, I look up and I'm checking on my thing. Oh, I will have to watch. I've been doing a lot of family time stuff and haven't got as much floss tube in as I would like. And tomorrow's back to work. Brain and finger communicate. Pointy needle, and sometimes it's not wanting to go in the actual hole, but try to make its own hole. Oh, me too. I cannot keep up. There's too many. I did get to go on a road trip to the only LNS left in Minnesota in August. And I was going to talk about it on my floss tube, but we tried to film and we were just not feeling it. And we're like, we're not going to put up something that's terrible because neither one of us were really in the mood. Wait, did I do that? Nope, I need another one. And I went to Welcome Stitchery with two of the ladies that I met at Frogworts and another friend, and it was awesome. They, if you're buying fabric, they'll serge it for you, even if they cut it. Even their discount stuff, they'll serge for you before you leave, and they give you a label if you tell them what project it's for to stick on it, so that you remember what you wanted to use it for months down the line when you pull it out again. Which I thought was awesome. Because sometimes I get fabric and then don't remember what I intended to use it for. Mostly I've just been working my butt off because I'm teaching night school, teaching 2 new subjects in high school, working my part-time job on the weekends. And so, lots of doctor's appointments, that kind of stuff. Because I'm at that age now. So yes, first of 50 starts. I think I'm going to try to do my floss tube like more shorts and stuff rather than big long ones. So I'm going to be starting like a new project every week. I usually love sharp needles, but with this fabric, I might need to change away from a sharp needle. Just trying to want to split the weave. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make another trip to Welcome Stitchery. Also went to the world's I think it's the world's biggest candy store. The most fun part of that was all the decorations. They have like a crazy amount of decorations. They have a space room where all the space shuttles and everything from like Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek are all flying around the ceiling. And it was so fun. I was more interested in the decorations than the food. Oops. No tangly. It's too early for that. Hey, get it before it's tight, then it works much better. Oops. All right, Let's flip this so I can get the fuzzies out. I'm going to miss my loop start doing 1/1. It's weird because when I glance up to check on the things, there's a delay in my camera, even though I have it. So I'm like seeing myself do things I just did, and it's really kind of weird. This is my first Paine-free craft. I think it's also my first Ann Stokes. I am not doing all the black background though. I decided to ditch those 600,000 stitches. Definitely gonna have to cut down the length for the next one. Should just cut this one in half. Did I bring my scissors? Apparently not. Is that the one thing that I forgot to bring in here? Ay. You would think. Oh, that sounds like fun, actually. I've actually thought about doing that with some of my finishes, like going through and finding all my progress pictures and making a little reel with like the start and end date on it. I think that it might be good to do some shorts because YouTube's really pushing the shorts. Had a nice quiet holiday. Kid came to visit with the son-in-law. And they came Christmas Eve and stayed the night, and we did our Christmas Eve dinner, and then they left Christmas Day. The kid had to go back to work the next day. Oops, my head might get in the shot. Yep. I really gotta go get some new glasses. And with my magnifiers on, sometimes it's a little hard to see what I'm doing. Where am I going next? A little worried about the 1/1 on the 28th, but I think it's going to look just fine. Just know it'll be too crowded if I try to do 2/1 because my 2/1s I'm doing on 25 are very tight. Ooh, that is too tight. That is one of the problems with really long strings. Get strained. Get this little knot out. Yay! Yeah, I'm doing my first whip go this year, so that'll be fun. Picking two heids that I haven't worked on much, including my New Year, New Start from last year, to be my two focus, and then I'm going to try to do some fully finish objects with my whip go too. Been a long time. Yeah, I am being kind of lazy. I was like, I don't want to have to change a bunch of thread all the time. And it's kind of a good thing because I forgot to bring my scissors. And I was like all prepared and had everything in here. Nope, forgot the scissors. Pretty sure I have something to cut stuff with in here somewhere. Yeah, well, I kind of didn't want to stitch all that black because eventually I get tired. And I was like, they seem like kind of astrological. I mean, they're the pagan months, but uh, they felt kind of like they should be on a space background. So I found this and I was like, that's exactly what I want to put behind it instead of the black. So if I hadn't found something I really liked, I probably would have ended up stitching the black or getting like a plain blue or something. Yeah, it looks like outer space. It's a little hard to tell. Like, it's been so long since I did a floss tube. I was like, there's so much personal stuff that I didn't get to talk about because I didn't do a floss tube. You know, and had a nice Thanksgiving. We had brisket, not very traditional, but son-in-law can't do red meat, so we do the turkey whenever holiday he's going to be here, and then we have brisket or whatever we want the other holiday. And over the Christmas break, or the winter break, we don't call it Christmas break anymore. um, we watched all the Harry Potter movies and all of the extended versions of Lord of the Rings. Okay. Oh yeah, the coverage is going to be great. I don't mind that at all. I really should have cut my thread. And I really should have brought my scissors. I was going to originally do this on my phone, and then it wouldn't work on my phone. So I had to troubleshoot and figure out how to use the basics of OBS so I could do it on my husband's computer. And so I got distracted by getting all the tech issues sorted out and forgot my scissors. Oh well. Trying to keep my head out of frame, but sometimes it's going to happen. We celebrated our 30th anniversary together, our 26th wedding anniversary since our last Flosstube. Can't believe it. Oops. Not up on me. Time to turn it over so I can see what I'm doing. Ooh, that is an atrocious mess. Ah, I got it. Yay. I am a little concerned that some of the dragons might blend in this a little bit. So I might have to do some back stitching or do a one like row of the black around the edge on some of them, depending on how they blend into the blue. The ladies that I met when we went to Welcome Stitchery were Tasha, known as Not a Lot of Stitches, and she's the person who made the footprint border for the frogworts. And she was really nice. She brought little gift bags and gave us all cow magnets. If you want to know more about what cow magnets are, feel free to ask. I don't know if everybody wants to know. They're kind of gross when you hear the explanation. She's Not a Lot of Stitches on Instagram. And I met Natasha, who's That Damn Stitcher on Instagram, DAHM. She was also very nice. In November, her husband had a stroke, and she's a stay-at-home mom with 2 little kids, and he's back home now, but he's still got a long recovery to go, and they've got a GoFundMe to help with medical expenses and physical therapy and stuff like that. I will, once the live's done, I will add that into the description so that if you want to help out one of our fellow stitchers, you can do that. I have notes to talk about because, oh, welcome back. If I don't have anything to notes and there's nobody here to talk to, although I do have one person here, and that's awesome. I have something to say because nobody just wants to stare at me stitching for an hour with no sound. So yeah, I will put the link to the GoFundMe to help out That Damn Stitcher if anybody's interested at the end, so that they can finish getting her husband's care. Let's see, where am I? There I am. Kind of excited, I think, to have it count the stitches for me. I think that's probably the most exciting part for using Pattern Keeper. Make challenges a lot easier for the stuff I have in Pattern Keeper, because I'm also doing Fandom Central and Magical Stitches this year. And the fandoms are Doctor Who and Supernatural. We're battling it out to see who's the better fandom. I jumped too far down. I did. That's okay, because there's another stitch right there. And I'm just going to cheat. Nobody'll know once it's done. Shh. Oops. See if I can get that undone. I gotta dig through the drawers here maybe and find me something to cut this with. Cannot believe I forgot my scissors. Sorry for the crinkly noise. Here's a box cutter. I'll have to be very careful, but that's it. The frog button. Yeah. I hope I don't have to frog a lot. Okay, so yeah, I was debating, and it's like I'll probably just do the monthlies. I think trying to do the monthlies and the weeklies in my 50 starts it's probably going to be too much. But I did know, I mean, it helped me get it helped me get 17 finishes last year doing the games. So that's why I'm continuing. And I know why I'm not working on my cliffhanger and my wisdom as much, because they're the 25 count 2 over 1, and it's really tight, and pushing the needle through sometimes is hard, and it gets very slow. And then I get frustrated, not because I'm not really like enjoying how it looks, but just because it's taking me longer than I think it should to do the same amount of stitches. Let's see. Come on, get in through the actual hole. Don't make your own hole. Oh, man. See, that's okay. Yeah, I'm going to cut this in a minute and just have a shorter thread. Save myself some sanity points. Whoosh. All right. Do not use a box cutter to cut thread. It's probably not a good idea. There we go. Ooh, that needs a new blade. Yeah, and I was trying to like, I don't know, but it's pretty adaptable, and I can use my my new starts to do a lot of them. And although if I don't finish, I should finish because I picked a lot of little ones, like the little kits to do for some of my new starts. Ooh, that's not in the right spot. So I should get some finishes because 2 days on those, I'm just working on everything for 2 days when I start it. And on the little kits, the 2 days should get me a finish for most of them. So I'm hoping that I don't end up with 60 whips at the end of the year. Come on, get in the hole. I think I would get overwhelmed if I had that many. Excuse me. Here we go. That's still in the weave. Just a smidge. Get in the right hole. Thank you. That was being stubborn. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's people with like 130 something. I've been like, I have a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't have room for all that. Sure, I'm counting right. Should be. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Skipped a part of a line because it was too far to carry my thread. Yeah, I have 10 whips left from last year. So. which isn't too bad. I got more finishes than I got. I reduced my number of whips overall, so that's pretty good. I would love to start all the things. I don't like working 7 days a week and then doing night school. I really don't have as much time to stitch as I would like. There's definitely a difference in my stitching counts in the school during the school year and during the summer. That's right. There we go. 13's not bad. That's pretty manageable. A lot of mine are the little kits you get in like the cross stitch magazine, the little cards. So most of them won't take very long. I do have a couple of big projects I'm going to start though. Got my first Mirabilia, the Emerald Mermaid, which is I have like the old school with the photo that I got from my grandma. I've got to go and get the pattern broken up into multiple pages. It's just one big unfolding page right now. And then I've got Old World Map by Haight on the list. Evening in the Shire, which doesn't look huge, but I think it's one of those that's probably going to be deceptively like there's more stitches than you think there will be kind of situation. Gonna do my first owl forest, so I'm excited about that. There we go. I did figure out how many stitches I did in July through December. I think most of them came from when I was doing frogworts in July. Because I'm surprised that it's that big. All right, let's see. I think this would help if I click on the highlighter. Learning Pattern Keeper. So far, all I've really done is eliminate the black. Oh, wait. Not sure why I didn't carry those over, but that's okay. Okay, add those. Ooh, I missed that one. Ooh, I've done 26 stitches so far. It does not help that I'm not in my normal comfy spot for my speed. I should look up Miss Moth. And see what it looks like. Oh, you know what? I got Google right here. Oh, you'll be able to hear me typing though. Oh, well. Oh, there's a couple of different ones. It's the Nora Corbett one that's kind of, oh, she has two of them. She has Miss Moth and Miss Furry Moth. You're doing the orange one, aren't you? Nice. Yeah, 2/2 on 28 would work, but I am not, I did not, piece of fabric is not big enough to do 2/2 to fit Dragons of the Sabbat on it. I double checked before I started. I blame Jade, the 310 stitcher, for my Dragons of the Sabbat. And that the Nora Corbett Moth Lady is really pretty. One of these days I'll get around to doing one of those Nora Corbett's. Oh wait, no, I do have a Nora Corbett. My Halloween Fairy is a Nora Corbett. I just got it out of a magazine. I even watched one of your Flosstubers a little bit, like in the last couple of days. I play at Stokes. Yes, well, she does have some beautiful designs. But I would not, if Jade, the 310 Stitcher, hadn't been talking about it, then I wouldn't have heard about it, that it was going to be discontinued, and I got it right before it discontinued. So, I mean, I know there's a chance that somebody else will chart it at some point, like she'll get a license with somebody else for this design. But that reminds me, I have to get the Beneath the Sea thing. I have a really cool one that I need to start, but it's not Pattern Keeper friendly, so, because I tried importing it and it did not work. So I'll have to do it differently. That's okay. I think, like, I'm gonna have, like, by the end of the year, I'm gonna have several, like 4 or 5 full coverage pieces on the go. I think that's probably enough. Like the big full coverage. That's right. Maybe I can get 200 stitches in this today. That would be nice. Fortunately, I don't get to stitch all day. I have to get ready to go back to work tomorrow and grade some tests from right before the break. I don't really want to, but I need to. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, kitty hair, get out of the way. Of course, there's no way I'm going to have a project that doesn't have at least one piece of cat hair in it. Oh, yeah. And then you wouldn't have had to do the background. There are things about it I love, and there are things about it that I don't. And I have 178 students, and trying to get everything done and graded in a timely fashion is challenging. I really didn't want to grade it all over the break, but if I didn't, I would be so backed up when we got back. I actually, if I could find another job that would pay as well, I am seriously considering getting out of teaching. But finding a job that pays the same amount and when I'm not teaching has been difficult. What did you teach? Oh, that's what I'm doing, and I'm not licensed, so it's a really interesting experience. I have biology, one class of biology, the rest is considered earth science, but the state just flopped the standards. So physical science, which is where the beginning of physics is, was ninth grade last year, and earth science with eighth grade. And then they flopped them. So I'm teaching a mix of earth science and physical science so that when they move on, they haven't completely missed all the basics of physics. So it's been very interesting. Yeah. Well, I never took physics as a class, so that makes it even more interesting. Um, and I haven't had any science classes in 30 years. So, yeah, I am getting a crash course, and I'm like a day ahead of the kids most of the time, and that's about it. I wish I could get more ahead, but they're already asking me if I want to come back next year because there's such a shortage of science teachers. So I will still apply for other jobs because there's no guarantee because they have to try to hire a teacher licensed in high school science before they hire me back. So it's a limbo land job wise. And I've never taught high school before either, so that also makes it interesting. But it's okay. I am learning and growing as a person. That's true. I mean, I knew some of it, but like, and only in a casual way, and having to figure out the right terminology to explain it is sometimes a bit challenging. In fact, I need to read up on the cells before I go back to work tomorrow. Although one of the biology teachers shared all of his videos that he does the online classes with, and I'm basically just showing those and having the kids work through his stuff. But that makes it a little easier. And my team is very supportive, which is nice too. How long ago did you teach? Yes. Tech is great when it works, and it is a nightmare when it won't. If I could teach online, I think I would prefer that. Then you just have to call when they, or email their parents when they don't turn in their work. You don't have to do the behavior thing as much. And that's kind of nice. Oh, yeah. A lot of people only do it for a couple of years. People underestimate how stressful it is and how tiring. I once saw an article years ago when I was first starting out in teaching, actually, or not first, but towards the beginning of my career. And they talked about how teachers have a lot more fatigue at the end of the day than even CEOs, because teachers are having much more human interaction than a CEO, because a CEO maybe talks to like 50 people through the course of the day, because the secretary filters things and everything. But you'll have 30, 35 kids in the class, and they'll be asking you multiple questions during an hour-long class, and then you do that 6 class periods a day. So you end up having like 400 interactions with other people just from your students asking you questions. And then, interactions with coworkers and family and everything. So talking about how teachers' mental loads is actually in some ways much higher than a CEO's. If I could have stayed a school librarian, I would have been in hog heaven, but budget cuts, and yeah. So now most of the librarian positions are in the state are half time or less. So I can't. I had a lot of work to do as a librarian too, but I got breaks from people, which was very helpful. I had some quiet times in the day where I could do work and concentrate on it and not have people bothering me. Or The only problem with my little flippy thing is that I like a certain way of tying them off, and then with this, there you go. That's what happens when I don't have scissors. I improvise. But I end up having to do it weird because I usually just flip it upside down and then I do it to the right. So I have to think about it when I turn it over instead. Yeah, it is a higher level of responsibility. Yeah, I agree. And you're not just affecting one person's future, you're affecting hundreds of kids' futures every year. It is a big responsibility. And they've started talking about now teachers having, what is it called? Compassion fatigue. Because so many of the kids have issues and everything that you just wear yourself out worrying about your students and all that kind of stuff. So, and then of course, nobody shares the same compassion with the teachers that they want us to show the students. And so it's hard for us to refill our emotional buckets frequently. But that is life. All right, let's see. Don't forget to click the movie button before you touch the screen if you want to shift your, which direction do I want to go here? I think I'm going to go that way. All right, this is an interesting experiment with the pattern keeper here. Did you buy anything from unconventional cross stitch after the fire? I got a couple of pieces. There was a few that I had wanted from her for a while. And I was like, this is a perfect excuse. I got the King Kong one. I got Cthulhu with the white kitty cat. I understand that. I frequently don't get around to the stuff I want to do. I got the Cthulhu cuddling the white kitty cat, and I think it's a solid white cat, but I think what I'm going to do is our cat is white and gray. So I think I'm going to change part of the cat space to match our kitty cat. And then I got one, a cozy night in. It's this girl in a cityscape, like on her balcony with her feet propped up, reading a book. And it's a really nice look and feel to it. It's one of those that there's going to be like, it looks like it's going to be solid. Like all the buildings look like they're going to be like a lot of solid black on the edges, you know, when it's not the windows, but I have a feeling it's going to be confetti hell. I haven't looked that closely, but I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be confetti hell. wait, not there yet. Going back across. Time for a marathon half thing. 17 stitches in a row. No problem. Have a good night. I know you're ahead of me hours wise, although I think it's probably afternoon. Take care. I'll have to get around to some more of your floss too. I think that Pattern Keeper is going to be very useful. I think for sals and stuff with a lot of back stitching, I'll probably still stick with paper or tiny patterns that aren't 200 pages like Dragons of the Sabbat. I mean, it's not quite that, but it's really close. Since I last hung out with everybody on my floss tube, I've gotten 2 pieces of Stitchy Kindness. I started watching the Floss Boss and Cousins, and they were doing a D-Stash giveaway, and I was lucky enough to win a partially started Halloween Quaker, which has been on my list for a while. I already have the pattern, but now I've got a start of it on the called for fabric, which is gorgeous. So I'm really excited to be to get to that this year. Luckily, our X is going the same way, so that will be a good thing. I was really concerned because not everybody makes their X's in the same direction, that it wouldn't be that our directions wouldn't match, and I would either have to frog everything or decide to try to remember to do my X's a different way, which I think might have taken the joy out of it. But I think frogging would have probably taken the joy out of it for a little bit too. And the other piece of Stitchy Kindness that I received was Fabric Flare did a giveaway on their Instagram where you could enter to win. And you got 2 pieces of fabric, one to keep and one to give to a friend. And they sent me the 2 pieces. One was this really pretty mottled gray, which I think would be great for like a Halloween thing, or probably some pretty ladies would fit on it, although the really fancy pretty ladies wouldn't because it's 14 count, I think. Yeah, it was 14 count, and I don't think usually those are too big for 14 count. And then I got another piece that was blue with white dots on it, which looked very wintry and Christmassy. And so I went digging. It's like, well, I don't have any fabric that's really good for Christmas stuff because I tend to get Halloweeny stuff. And I have all these old Christmas books that my grandma gave me, or that I inherited when my grandma passed. And I wonder if there are any patterns in here that would look good on this fabric, fit on this fabric, and that I really like. So I went through all my Christmas books, and I did find one that actually called for 18, or excuse me, not 18, 14 count. And it was Santa Claus with a blue background and stars or snow. Yeah, it's snow. And I'm like, ooh, this would go nicely behind this blue fabric with the dots. White dots would be beautiful behind this design. So I might start a big Christmas one. I kind of, Christmas is not the same as it was when my kid was little. It's always more magical at Christmas when you have little kids and you're doing Santa stuff and all these little fun Christmas presents. And um, so now during the Christmas season, I either asked to watch a bunch of Christmas movies. Last year we did Christmas horror movies. And this year I decided that I wanted to watch all the Harry Potter movies. I know technically they're not Christmas, but they put me in mind of childhood and magic and Christmassy stuff. And then the Lord of the Rings movies, because I wanted some magical stuff to make Christmas feel more magical like it did when our kid was little. And so that's what I wanted to watch this year. So we did. As well as Eight Crazy Nights, Adam Sandler's Hanukkah movie. And that's fun. I like that one. That one's fun. There's not really many Hanukkah movies, so. All right, double count. It's always good to double count. Now that I'm using Pattern Keeper, I guess one of the things I'm going to have to figure out is how much do I stitch before I start marking it off? What is the ideal sweet spot for that for me? Does anybody have any tips? How often do you mark off on your Pattern Keeper? Do you just do it a row at a time? Do you do a couple of rows and then do it? Do you do just a few stitches if you're jumping far in your project? Welcome. Feel free to join in the conversation or just stitch whatever you're working on. If you would like to share what you're working on, that would be awesome. I'm always looking for new cool things to add to my list of stuff I have but will never get to. If you are just joining me, I am working on my first start of 50 for 50 because I'm turning 50 this year, so I'm doing 50 new starts. And this is Dragons the Sabbat, art by Ann Stokes and charted by Paine Free Crafts. And it is on 28 count even weave, Creationist Blue by Fabric Flare. I'm doing it 1/1, and I was a little worried about the coverage before I started because I don't work on 28 count very much, but it is going to cover beautifully. And I'm ditching the black background, or else what would be the point of having this beautiful fabric? Actually, I wanted to stitch the black, or wanted to ditch the black before I even started it, but I had to find the perfect fabric. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? All my notes I've already talked about. Hope everybody had a good holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, solstice, whatever it is you celebrate. I would appreciate Pattern Keeper tips because I am new to using it. So if you've got any. Hi. I am wearing magnifiers over my glasses that flip up. And I actually really need new glasses, so it is a little bit challenging. But the magnifiers super help. What are you working on, girl Ryan? Oh, there it is. on fleece. I've never done any embroidery. That's one of the things I'm going to try this year. A mandala, huh? What is the theme of the mandala? Or colors, maybe. A little knot. Pastel girly colors. Valid. I see a little kitty cat hair trying to stay in there. I tend to use the pointed sharp point needles, and this is a pretty tight even weave, so sometimes it's trying to make its own holes instead of going to the actual holes. That's okay. My intended embroidery piece to start with is a Nightmare Before Christmas one that I got in an embroidery kit for Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's Sally and Jack on the Curvy Hill. And I admit I'm a little bit nervous, and I struggle because I'm left-handed, and almost all the tutorials for how to do all those stitches are by right-handed people. And sometimes it's hard to reverse the direction that they're doing stuff in to work for going lefties. But yeah, I'm going to try embroidery and black work for the first time this year. So it will be an interesting year. Yeah. My grandma tried to teach me, I think it was to crochet, and I could do one row really well. And then as soon as I tried to connect the next row, it was a disaster. So I gave up. Maybe I should try again. But I already have sable for cross stitch. Don't really need to get another yarn craft. I would never get anything finished. Oh, what did I do wrong here? Oh, really? I'm messing up already? Yep, I messed up already. Oh, poop. I gotta go back and undo this whole row. I don't. Am I the only one who doesn't really consider it frogging unless you've already tied it off? Yeah. Well, at least if you're making a toad out of it, it's still useful, even if you don't end up giving it to the intended person. Gently now. This will just be a decorative hoop thing. So it will be an interesting experiment. If I like embroidery. I guess it's just a different way to color stuff in rather than X's. Oh, come on. All right, Let's flip you over and see if there's something I'm not seeing. May have to just cut this. There we go. Got it loose. Not even 100 stitches in and I'm having to take stuff out. Oh well. I am getting used to using Pattern Keeper. Come on. Don't pull anything. Don't break the fabric. All right, I see. It's time to cut it. And of course I forgot my scissors in the other room, and now it's like don't be a turkey. Why is it stuck so bad? There we go. That's why. I think nope. Patience. There we go. It's pulling too far. Exciting. Is your the embroidery you're doing for your niece, is it a bag or on a blanket or? Oh, I'm all by myself again. That is okay. I had like 4 or 5 people stop by this time. Last time I had nobody come. I just talked to myself for the whole time. That's okay though. And frogging is not very fun to watch, so I get it. I'll just start with a new thread here in a minute and everything will be good. On Saturday, next Saturday, after we go to school for 2 days, I get to judge a robotics tournament, so that'll be interesting. I haven't done that before. Hoping I'll have a little bit of a break and maybe I can get some stitching in. Apparently I'm getting lunch. I'm getting treated to lunch. That'll be nice. welcome. If you are working on anything, feel free to share what you're working on. I am doing the Dragons of the Sabbat, charted by Paine Free Crafts, and art by Ann Stokes. I'm ditching the background so I can use this beautiful space fabric to go behind the dragons. Oops, let's not rip up the fabric. Less than 100 stitches in. You counted wrong, and now you have to frog. Sometimes I wish I was better at telling stories. That's why I don't do Stitch With Me's more often. I'm not very good at telling stories, and I think that it's very helpful for Stitch With Me's if you're good at stories when you are doing them. We watched some Christmas movies during the break. Did we watch any new ones? I can't remember. Oh, we watched The Substance. That was amazing. Gross, but amazing. Dealt with body issues and the messages we get about our bodies as women and struggling with changing as your body changing as you age. So that was good. What else did we watch? Watched the Big Fat Quiz Show of 2024. We watch the Big Fat Quiz Show every year. A lot of stuff we don't know because it's based on UK stuff, so sometimes we're totally lost. That's okay. We learn about what's going on in the UK and what's popular over there. I'm going to be doing WIPGO for the first time. I think I mentioned this earlier, and I've got Cliffhanger and Wisdom on that, plus fully finishing objects. And then I'm going to be doing Fandom and Magical Stitches, and that's always tricky. I probably will end up doing what I did last year and just do the monthlies. The weeklies get overwhelming trying to do those too because of working all the time. And so, but it still really helps me get progress, and that's why I'm going to try to do it this year, even with the 50 starts I'm planning. But I should have plenty of projects to fit the different prompts with 50 starts. Don't you think? Oh, that's right. That goes here. I'm just going to have to get new thread. Frogging this has destroyed it. It's a good tight weave, though. But it is harder to frog things when you've got a good tight weave. Stand that does the flippy flip. I was so excited about it when I got it, and it is very helpful. There we go. Come on. Good little thread and come out. If you've joined me and would like to share what you're working on in the chat, that would be awesome. I'm always looking for new ideas and projects. If you just want to sit silently and stitch, that is fine as well. I'm going to try to be a little bit more regular with my floss tubes. They're probably going to be shorter and maybe some shorts thrown in there. Where is some tape? Do we have some tape? Ooh, don't have have tape, but I have a lint roller. That'll help get the fuzzies out from frogging. Sorry about that. Lint rollers are incredibly useful for getting out stray little bits from your crafty stuff, even if there's no lint on them. All right, pattern keeper. Let's try this again. It's a little, whoop, don't fall paper. It takes a little bit of getting used to, pattern keeper does. Wrong way. All right, let's try this again. See if I can keep from frogging this, having to frog this time. It has been a very unusual winter here in Minnesota. Usually we would have quite a bit of snow on the ground. We got snow just right before Christmas so that we had a white Christmas, and then we had a couple of days after Christmas where everything pretty much melted, and we had foggy days every day, like dense fog warnings and advisories. And one day where we had frost on the ground, not snow, just a really even thick layer of frost. And then it warmed up and thawed out again. And now that we're going back to work, it's going to be a high of like 18 degrees and still no snow. So it's been a very unusual winter. Last I heard, we were 11 inches behind on snowfall, which in some ways is great because I don't have to drive in so much snow. But it is also a sign of climate change and the problems that's causing, and it is not going to be good for the crops in the spring because they will not have had enough moisture in the soil from the snows melting, and it can cause a problem for farmers. So I'm hoping we get some more snow. Plus, what's the point of all these cold temperatures if you don't get snow? Like, why do I have to suffer the cold and there's no snow on the ground? You know, it's, I'll try this a different way. If I'm going to have to freeze my butt off, there should at least be snow. There was, in the town I grew up in, or mostly grew up in, there was a tornado over the Christmas break, and one of the elementary schools was totally trashed. And it was actually an elementary school that my husband went to for a while. That's what threw me off. Forgot to mark off that bit. That's what threw me off. That's why I had to frog. Let's fix that so I don't have to do that again. One, two, three. Not bad, not bad. I'm really looking forward to getting new glasses and being able to stitch back in my comfy spot. I was hoping to do this live stream on my phone so I could be in my favorite comfy stitchy spot. And And you can't do lives from your phone right yet on YouTube. So I am in my husband's office borrowing his computer and his camera software and in his computer chair, which he loves and finds super comfortable, but I do not. So maybe in the future, they will make it so you can do lives from your phone. If they want us all to do the shorts, it would make more sense for them to have lives from your phone. As most people are doing lives or on their phone out and about, and they probably are just going to do a live. I guess I know a lot of people do their floss tubes on their phones, which I'm probably going to do some of my own filming on Flosstube now, so that my husband can pursue some of his own interest instead of just video editing my videos all the time. He enjoys it, but he also has other things he'd like to do. So there'll probably be videos where it's just me, and probably be videos where it's my husband with all the fancy graphics. My videos will probably just be the shorts. I wonder how long shorts can be. I'll have to look that up. I like to be more regular and show updates of all my 50 starts throughout the year. 17. Since I am doing 50 starts for my 50th year. I think I might be a little crazy doing that, but I wanted to, so it's going to be fun. Since I'm doing a lot of smalls, I'll get a lot of finishes too. Somebody told me that was cheating. I'm like, that's not cheating. I'm just picking the projects that I want. What is that on my fabric over here? There's no red on the fabric. Did I get something on my fabric? I'll clean it up here. Oh, I bet I know what it is. That's all right. That'll probably be covered up anyway. I can clean it off. I think it is from the clip that I'm using over there. I think the metal touched it. I mean, they're clips from the dollar store, so there is a chance that they're not high quality. Our Turkey Day, or excuse me, our Thanksgiving tradition is to watch Turkey Day from MST3K, or Mystery Science Theater 3000. That's what we do every year. They, if you aren't familiar, they do, they make fun of movies. And it started out as a public broadcasting show here in Minnesota. And then they got picked up by like Comedy Central and the Sci-Fi Channel. And now their YouTube basically runs their stuff all year long. But they do, every year they have a Turkey Day marathon. And what they do is they just show a bunch of bad movies. And usually the fans vote on it. This year they had celebrities pick. So like Mark Hamill came on and picked his favorite episode of Mystery Science Theater, and a few things like that. And a lot of them are old bad movies that are out of copyright. Nobody has a license to them, so you could show them for free because it was on a public access. They didn't have a budget. But they make a lot of great jokes, and it's really fun. Yesterday we were just putting on something while I was working on grading and stitching, and my husband was reading. And they had the movie Alien from LA, which stars Kathy Ireland, and it was late 80s. And it was one of my favorite cheesy movies when I was a kid, and I was very excited about it when Mystery Science Theater did it. What else did we watch that was really good? I'm terrible with titles. Things like that jump out of my head all the time. Oh, we watched Oculus because we had watched all the other Mike Flanagan movies. Uh, Haunting of Hill House and all those that he did, and it was like his first big movie. Um, his first full length movie, I should say, not his first big movie. And I hadn't seen it, and I was I had heard about it through an article because he's doing a new Clayface movie for DC, which should be really interesting considering his director style. Um, and Oculus was like his first full length feature film. So you could see like the infancy of the things that he becomes really good at later. So that was nice to watch kind of the birth of his directorial style. He definitely has gotten a little bit better at the subtle creepy and the slow build. But I also think that one of the reasons he was able to do that is because the Haunting of Hill House and The Fall of the House of Usher and all of that were miniseries rather than just a 2-hour movie. So I think it is, going to be fun to see his Clayface because maybe he'll actually make a good DC live action movie. DC has really struggled with that. Let's see. Usually I stitch a little faster than this, but I'm not in my comfy position and in my comfy chair and getting used to doing 1/1 on 28. I think it's taken me a little bit of time, and also getting used to Pattern Keeper. It's taken me a little time. And if you have any tips on using Pattern Keeper, again, I would love those because I am very new to it. This is my first time using it for a project. I do think I will probably only use it on my full coverages that don't have a ton of backstitch, because from what I understand, it doesn't do backstitch well. Maybe I should periodically do stitch with me's. I have started a kind of a stitch together group once a month here so that I can meet up with other stitchers and talk about cross stitching and maybe make some in-person stitchy friends. Being away from the big twin cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, there's not as many groups that get together in St. Cloud as there are down there because there's a lot of bigger towns closer together towards the cities. In fact, it's like an hour to Mall of America. It's an hour and a half, about an hour and a half from where I live. So, big city. I mean, St. Cloud's 60,000 people or so. I think it's up to 70,000 now. So it's not a tiny town or anything. Lots of great places to eat. Just not quite the population of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And then you have like Edina and Eagan and all those other big suburbs. And so it not as many people that like to stitch. It's not as easy, or I should say, it's not as easy to find people who are also into stitching. So that's been kind of fun meeting a couple people. I've only had 2 of them, but I've set them up every month and we alternate Saturdays and Sundays so that it can accommodate different people's schedules. I'm hoping this summer to get back to Welcome Stitchery because it was such a blast to go there and they had such great customer service. I'm assuming their customer service is just as good if you order online. I don't know. I've only been to 2 really cross stitch stores. That was Stitchville, which is no longer open, and Welcome Stitchery. And Stitchville did not serge your fabric for you when you bought it, which I think is a super wonderful piece of customer service. And they'll do it on everything, which I know I'm repeating myself, but it was just such a good experience. I had such a fun day. I had such a fun time on the road trip going down there and then going to the candy store, and we took pictures with the Jolly Green Giant statue and a bunch of the Sprout statues around the area. It was a really good day. I quite enjoyed myself. And I am looking forward to making another road trip down there. Although this time it'll probably be me and my hubby instead of Stitchy friends. Welcome if you've just joined me. Slowly but surely working on Dragons of the Sabbat. I hope you're working on something fun today. I have a bunch of nuts. What is that? It is a little bit of a knot. Ooh, that's not good. Oh well, it'll get trapped down. It'll be fine. No one will know. Yeah, it's too far to go back. I already undid that one, so I'm not undoing it again. It'll just get pinned underneath. If you have any designer recommendations, that would be awesome. I'm always looking for new designers or new shops. I always get to shop as often as I'd like, but I like to have a collection of places to go to get different stuff. I'm gonna have to fix that. I don't like the way that stitch looks. So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna do it another top stitch right over the top. Fix the little gap. Didn't quite do it the way, but it'll pinch together. It'll be fine. And let's see, go right there. Yep. Oops, that's not going to be secure enough. The only problem with this flippy thing is that I have to finagle. So when I do it upside down, I don't change the direction of the back threads, and then I get like them all to go the same way. Let's see, how bad is that on the front? It's okay. You can't see it. And improvising because I forgot my scissors. Okay, let's see. Mark off what I've done. Oops. All right. Ooh, 77 stitches. Only been at this a couple of, well, let's see, 100 minutes. So just over an hour and a half. It takes. Oh, the kitty's starting to fuss. Daddy got up, so now he wants to eat. Yes, I was wondering when you would come by. Uh-huh. Yeah, do you want to come up here? Meow, meow, meow. Come on. Come on, get up here. There you go. Want some attentions? Okay. Sorry, kitty is demanding pets. Okay, you're gonna go way up there? Alrighty. The kitty cat demanding pets because he's a brat. He's a brat. He likes to commit cat crimes, especially when it comes to cross stitch. Yes, you and your needle grabbing. All right, kitty. Yeah. What you doing? Oh, you're trying to sucker me into feeding you before Daddy gets out of the shower. It's not happening. Yes. Sweetie boy. Aw, sweet baby. Sweet kitty. What are we gonna do with you? Okay. Can Mommy get back to stitching now? You can't have the needle. I know you love them. They're shiny and you think they are bugs. But not for you. Not for you. Okay, down you go. Thank you. Ooh. Let's fix that. There we go. Sorry about moving the camera. I am trying to get it kind of back where it was now that the cat has gotten out of my lap. Ugh. Now you can see my Nightmare Before Christmas pajama pants. Oh well. Let's go back to stitching. Oh yeah, lining up nicely. Ooh, that's the loose one. That's the loose thread, isn't it? How did that not get pulled tight? I don't know. We're gonna fix it here. All right. Let's see. Nope, that's too far. I will only go 5 stitches at the most. It gets too expensive and wasteful of thread. I know that some of you do the royal rows and you carry stuff all the way across, but for me, that's just too much wasted thread. But not, no shame, no blame kind of situation, but do what makes you happy. But I just can't imagine losing so much of my thread in the back. So yeah, magical stitches. I haven't talked about what their theme this year is yet. They're doing a series of unfortunate events. I really enjoyed the movie was pretty good. The TV show with Neil Patrick Harris was amazing. He did such a great Count Olaf. But I've only read like the first 2 or 3 books. I haven't read the whole series, I don't think. So it'll be really nice to read all of them. And I'll get some exposure to some new Doctor Who stuff. I've only ever watched the show, never read any of the books. And then may end up watching all of Supernatural. I only got through the first couple of seasons, and then there were other things to watch. So for fandom, I'll be getting caught up on that stuff and maybe seeing some stuff and reading some books that I haven't read before. So that'll be fun. Are there any Stitchy games that anybody recommends that really helped you get some stuff done or make some friends or just were super fun? It's been nice having people drop in and out. I know that not everybody's saying anything, but the first time I did a live, I had nobody swing by at all. So it's kind of exciting just to see people pop in and out, even if they say nothing. I think I am going to wrap it up here soon, though, because I need to go grade papers and prepare for school tomorrow. And if I can do that for a couple hours, then maybe I can stitch for a little bit and then go back to prepping for school tomorrow. All I really want to do is stay home in my nice comfy pajamas and watch some fun movies or watch my husband play video games and chill out. I really wish we did not go back until Monday, or that our first day back was a day without students so that we could fully enjoy our holidays and then get ready for the kids to come back at school when our holiday was over. That would be awesome. Where am I? Yeah, what did you think, mister? Is that what you think? Yeah, Daddy will feed you when he gets out of the shower. The same thing as every day. You're fine. You're not going to die. You are not starving to death at all. Uh-huh. Really? Is that your thought? Why did it just copy something to my clipboard? I didn't touch anything. My tablet is acting weird now. What, kitty? Hey, no, sir. Get down. 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 You're not supposed to get up on the computer stuff. I think I'm going to finish this strand and then I'm going to call it a day for the live. Thank you for everybody who swung by, even if you didn't stay even though you didn't stay the whole time. Thank you to anybody who watches this later after it is no longer alive. Even if you weren't here live, please feel free to leave comments, advice on using Pattern Keeper, recommendations for designers or shops that you like. If you've got a floss tube, drop that down as well. I'm always happy to find new people to watch and see what kind of cool stuff they're making. I don't think I ended up introducing myself at the beginning because somebody I knew was already in here. I am Amy and this is Harpy Stitch. So feel free to stop by anytime. I will post the link for the GoFundMe for that damn stitcher on Instagram, Natasha, to help with her husband's medical bills and physical therapy after a stroke that he had in November. If you are able to, please donate or share it so that other people can. She's a stay-at-home mom, and so he was the sole income, and it would be really helpful to help cover his medical bills so he can get on his feet as soon as possible, and so he can get healthy again. So if you can help, please do. I am really excited about my first time doing WhipGo, my first full year of fandom and magical stitches, and my year of 50 for 50 starts. Or 50 starts for 50, I should say. Let's get the words in the right order. Okay, where did I go? Oh, yeah, that's right. I almost lost my place on Pattern Keeper. It is definitely going to take some getting used to. Used to paper charts, and I mean, it's similar in some ways, but not similar in others. No, that's not right, is it? Yep, no, that's right. I've already had to pull stitches and I don't want to do it again. I mean, I'm sure I will at some point, but I don't want to do it again today. You can find me on Instagram as Harpy Stitch. You can find me on Facebook. I have a business page. I'm also over on Blue Sky, which I need to add to my contact info. If you have any questions or comments that you don't want to leave on the public page, you can email me at harpystitch@gmail.com. I am always looking for new stitchy friends and would love to build a larger stitchy community. My husband's very supportive and does a great job editing my videos, but cross stitch is not his thing, and it is not something he wants to hear about all the time. So it would be nice if I had some other people to talk to it so I don't draw him or talk his ear off about it. So I hope that you are all enjoying your day. Hi! I see some people joined. If you'd like to share what you're working on, please do. Oh, and they left again. It is about time for me to wrap it up so I can go do grown-up stuff. I wish that the only grown-up stuff I needed to do was cleaning my house, and then I could just stitch the rest of the time. But I should probably exercise and do some stuff like that too. But who wants to exercise? Actually, I kind of miss running. I haven't been able to run in a while because I had a plantar fasciitis in my feet, and I haven't gotten that under control enough to do it again. So I will finish this thread and I will wish you a fond farewell. I hope that the 2025 is kinder to you than 2024 was. And I hope that you are kind to everyone that you meet. And I hope today is kinder than yesterday, and tomorrow is kinder than today. And I hope you all have a great day and a great year. Happy stitching!